For over 200 years, a tiny, unassuming island off the coast of Canada has been hiding a secret. It's fueled one of the longest, most expensive, and honestly, most frustrating treasure hunts in history. It's a story packed with bizarre discoveries, brilliant traps, and a mystery that has cost fortunes and even lives. Today, we're going to try and get to the bottom of the Oak Island Money Pit. So this is where it all goes down, Oak Island. It's just this little 140-acre piece of land in Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia. Doesn't look like much, right? But for centuries, people have been absolutely convinced that something of incredible value is buried right here, protected by a system so complex it almost defies belief. So how did this whole thing even start? Well, it wasn't with some ancient map or a dying pirate's confession. Nope. The entire saga kicks off because three curious teenagers just saw something weird, and what they found would spark a mystery for the ages. The story goes that a young man named Daniel McGinnis was wandering around the island when he spotted this strange circular dent in the ground, and right above it, an old oak tree had a branch that looked like it had been used with a rope and pulley for years. I mean, your mind immediately goes to one place, right? Buried pirate treasure. So he got his friends, John Smith and Anthony Vaughn, and they decided they were going to be rich. And this is where it starts to get really strange. They start digging, and just a couple of feet down, bam, they hit a layer of carefully laid flagstones. Okay, weird. They keep going, and they realize they're in a man-made shaft about 13 feet across. Then, every 10 feet they dig, they hit another layer. This time, it's a platform of thick oak logs jammed right into the clay walls. This was no sinkhole. Somebody built this. That initial discovery, that was just scratching the surface. When a more organized search began a few years later in the early 1800s, it became terrifyingly clear that whoever built this thing really didn't want it to be found. They hadn't just buried something, they'd built an underground puzzle box, and it was deadly. So a group called the Onslow Company takes over, and the stuff they find just gets weirder and weirder. They dig through a layer of charcoal, then putty, then, at 60 feet, coconut fiber. Now stop and think about that. Coconuts do not grow in Nova Scotia. So how did they get there? And then, the big one, at 90 feet, they said they found a stone slab covered in strange symbols. Can you just imagine the excitement? They're 90 feet down, they found this mysterious stone, they decide to probe deeper. They jam a crowbar into the dirt, and at 98 feet, clunk. It hit something solid, something wooden. They were sure they'd found it, the treasure chest. So they call it a night, planning to come back in the morning and pull up their prize. But they never got the chance. When they came back the next day, the pit was filled with over 60